Hello travelers, Boardman21 here. Today wanted to cover trade and the item factions that we're going to have going into the 1.0 launch February 21st. I do apologize for the sound. I'm not using my normal setup. I just have a temporary setup just to get this video out. I am working towards getting my old setup back, so it will be a one-off. So for this post that was put down, we're going to cover what item factions are, when you get to it in the game, and just kind of what you can expect for it and which direction you want to go depending on your playstyle. But right before we begin, I do want to say that this is a sponsored video and we were asked to cover Twitch drops. So if you guys follow me on Twitch or several of the other streamers inside of Last Epoch, all you have to do is spend an hour watching any one of us and you'll be able to get these drops on these dates. As you can see, on February 22nd and 29th, you can get the Mantle of the Prophesier. On the 23rd and March 1st, you can get Dire the Guana Pet. You can get the Merchant's Mantle on February 24th or March 2nd, so you will have two chances for each of these. Again, you only have to spend 1 hour inside of a stream that has Twitch drops enabled to get these. And then on the 25th and March 3rd, you have the Blue Seer's Orb Pet. Now, getting back to the trade, just to go over what we're going to cover, it's the joining of the faction, the rank and the reputation, what favor is and how you acquire it, and then your rank requirements. For the two different factions, we'll cover what those rewards are, and of course, depending on your playstyle, why you would choose which one or the other. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what are item factions? One of the most common suggestions we received and what other games have tried was to create different cycles for trade and trade free. So what are item factions? And this is something that's been a common suggestion that's been received and that other games have even tried, was to have different cycles for trade or trade free. Basically to have multiple options for trade inside of the same game. And with how many games that I've played, I don't think I've ever played a game that's had multiple different ways to trade. I'm sure there's probably some out there, but I myself have never played one that's had it. So the question with Last Epoch was, how could they implement two different ways to find and acquire items without creating a division within the community, and of course making both ways fair, where not everyone's going to go one way because it's the better way to go. The answer? They came up with item factions, a fully integrated solution into the lore and mechanics of Last Epoch, allowing players to make a meaningful and rewarding choice in how they want to empower their loot hunt in the world of Eterra. And there are going to be two factions. You have the Circle of Fortune, which is going to be more for the solo player who wants to play by himself, maybe occasionally play with some friends, but isn't looking to actually have to go to the bazaar, the marketplace, and do trading. They're going to find all of the items that they want by themselves in the hunt and feel that that's the best choice for them. Again, that's going to be the Circle of Fortune. And then for the Merchant's Guild, this is going to be more for the player that wants to find items and then trade those items or sell those items to other players. Both of these have kind of a secondary thing, and that is with the Merchant's Guild, you're going to have the bazaar where you can go and do trading and buy things. And then for the Circle of Fortune, you're going to have the Observatory, which allows you to kind of nitpick what you really want to find with prophecies, which are going to be an item that you can get that's, again, going to help you really pinpoint down which items it is that you want to find and help you get those items, because you can't rely on other people finding them for you. So in short, on February 21st, when this comes out, you'll have the two factions, the Merchant Guild, which grants the ability to trade items with other players through the bazaar and player to player, the Circle of Fortune, which grants boosts to items you find yourself through prophecies and passive bonuses. Again, Circle of Fortune is going to be for that solo player where you just want to play by yourself, and the Merchant's Guild is going to be where you're in that online setting trading with other players or selling in a bazaar to the masses. So joining a faction. The first opportunity to join either the Merchant's Guild or the Circle of Fortune comes with your arrival to the upper district of the great mercantile city Majelka. Here Zarek will introduce you to both factions, provide you the opportunity to take a look at what each has to offer, and upon selecting either Merchant's Guild or Circle of Fortune, you will be guided to the faction's central hub. For the Merchant's Guild, that will be the bazaar, or for the Circle of Fortune, that will be the observatory where you're going to get those prophecies. We'll dive into what each of those hub offers below. However, let's first cover what it means to join a faction and some universal mechanics that are shared between both factions, starting with the item faction panel, which will become available when you join these. With the introduction of item factions, you'll have access to a new panel in the UI that allows you to view the details of your faction. By default, the panel can be accessed by using the Y button or through the main flyout options next to your mana globe at the bottom of your screen. Here you can see you have the layout showing you the ranks and the rewards that come with such ranks. You'll have your favor up here, and then of course you'll have your total amount of reputation that you can see towards getting your next rank up in your faction. So your rank and reputation. Your rank is going to be based on how much reputation that you have, and that'll determine what your rewards are depending on what rank you are and how much you've unlocked. And then you'll have favor, and favor is going to be what you get from killing mobs and from doing quests, and this will allow you to purchase things in the form of the Merchant's Guild. It'll be what you need in order to trade items or sell items, buy items, and then for the Circle of Fortune, it's going to be what you use to purchase prophecies, which will, of course, help you get the exact item that you're looking for. So let's cover the rank requirements a little bit here. As a member of an item faction, you will find many items which will have an attached faction rank requirement. This can be found at the bottom of an item tooltip. For Merchant's Guild, items will gain a faction rank requirement when purchased through the bazaar or via player-to-player trade, meaning that you're going to need to be at least that rank to either trade it again or sell it in the bazaar, or you will need to be that rank to buy an item of that rank in the bazaar. The rank requirement on the tooltip is to typically match the rank required to trade that particular item. So if you purchase a rank 4 idol through the bazaar, you will need to be at least rank 4 with the Merchant's Guild in order to equip that idol. And then for the Circle of Fortune, items obtained from benefits of the faction will have a faction requirement. Most items that drop for you will be influenced by your faction benefits, and thus you will find a faction requirement on most dropped items you find, as your various faction benefits can influence the items in many ways. The rank requirement to equip them, or the item, will be based on your current Circle of Fortune rank at the time the item drops, while never exceeding it. The maximum Circle of Fortune faction requirement is rank 5. Items with faction rank requirements require that you actively be in that faction to meet the requirements. For instance, you initially joined the Circle of Fortune, you reached rank 4, you have an item which requires Circle of Fortune rank 2, and then you change to Merchant's Guild. Even though if you swap back to Circle of Fortune, it'd still be rank 4, you're unable to equip that item while you're in the Merchant's Guild faction. So you can't really be flip-flopping to take advantage of both systems, but you can do both if you're looking for something or want to try it out. So faction vendors, which is going to be a way that you use up that favor that you've gained through killing mobs and doing quests. Both the Merchant's Guild and the Circle of Fortune members will be able to trade favor in exchange for rewards. For those familiar with the gambler Artem, you'll find faction vendors share some similarities and some differences. Faction vendors will sell items with base item types exclusive to your faction and can generate exalted items. Faction item types can be powerful early on if you gain access to them, but will be outpaced by endgame item types to prevent FOMO from faction selection. Circle of Fortune members can also purchase lenses from their faction vendor, which we'll get to the Circle of Fortune section. And those lenses are going to help you kind of choose and narrow down which prophecies that you're getting, but we'll get into that. So gifting faction items. Items that have a faction rank requirement follow the same rules for gifting as all items. To gift that item to another player, you'll need to be playing in a party with that player, and the other player will need to be present when the item drops. Alternatively, you can also use a relevant resonance to make the item eligible to be gifting. And if you guys are wondering what the resonance is, if you play with somebody long enough, you'll have some resonances drop with their name on it, allowing you to trade items with that player, even if that item hadn't dropped when that person was in the party, although that will take time being with that person to get. Alright, let's dive into the rank rewards and cover the Merchant's Guild a bit more in depth. For the Merchant's Guild rank 1, you can trade basic items that would be normal magic rare items at the bazaar or directly with other players. Rank 2 allows you to add and set items with that. Rank 3 would be trade specific unique items. You can buy and sell unique items with no legendary potential in the bazaar or directly with other players. Rank 4, you can trade idols. 5, you can trade exalted weapons, only weapons that are exalted. Rank 6 allows you to trade unique weapons, and these can have legendary potential. With rank 7, you can trade all exalted items. Rank 8, you are allowed to trade all unique items, even those with legendary potential. Then rank 9 allows you to trade legendary weapons. So if you've made some nice legendary weapons, you can earn a bunch of gold from that. And then rank 10 allows you to trade all legendary items, which means at rank 10 you can trade any item in the game, whether it be idols or a legendary, exalted, unique, even with legendary potential. So all of it will be tradable if you reach rank 10 in the Merchant's Guild. Buying items. When you visit the bazaar or want to trade with other players and buy things, the stall vendors in the bazaar are going to have items listed. You will be buying these with both favor that you've earned as a transaction cost, and then of course you buy them for a gold amount. So down here you can search through and find whatever it is you're looking for to see if it is in the bazaar, and then you can see that it costs a ton of gold, and it's going to cost you some favor as well in order to buy it. The gold, if it's listed by another player, will go to that person that asked for it. The favor, however, I believe is just used up by the system to limit the amount of transactions that are going on. Of course, if you don't have enough favor, you just go kill some more enemies, earn that favor, and then you can, of course, buy and list items even more. For the selling of items, it is key to note that when you sell an item, you can sell it for whatever gold cost you want. Of course, you'll want people to buy it, but you're also going to get all of that gold. The bazaar or the vendors will not take any cut of that gold cost. It will just take the favor that was used in order for you to list it and for that person to buy it. Then we have the Circle of Fortune. To go through some of the ranks for the Circle of Fortune, we have at rank 1 enemy item drop chance. Enemies will have a 35% chance of dropping twice as many items. Rank 2 will have upgraded Rune of Ascendance. There's a 45% chance for Runes of Ascendance to be preserved when used on an item that requires at least Circle of Fortune rank 1. So a good way to save some of those. That'll of course give you some extra chances for those uniques. For rank 3 item drop chance, whenever an idol drops, there's a 25% chance for 2 more to drop at the same time, which means 1 out of 4 times you're going to get 3 idols instead of 1. I'm curious if this works for idol shrines, because that is a ton of idols that are going to spam out, which is really nice, but hopefully it allows you a much better chance at finding the one you need. Rank 4 exalted affix chance. Affixes are 50% more likely to be exalted. That's huge. Rank 5, Monolith Echo Reward Upgrade. There's a 35% chance for double rewards from Monolith Echoes. That's just crazy in my opinion. I'm excited for that one. And if you haven't guessed already, I'm definitely going Circle of Fortune right off the bat, just to get my first character up and running. Rank 7, Tier 7 Affix Chance are twice as common at rank 8. Rare to Exalted Chance. Items that would drop as rare above level 44 have a 25% chance of becoming exalted instead. At rank 9, you get a full set drop chance, which means when a set item drops, the whole set drops instead. So there are some bosses in the game that drop sets, which means that you can get that whole set on the very first go. There's other times, like for instance, Boardman's set has 3 pieces. They all drop randomly, so when one randomly drops, if you are rank 9, you'll get the whole set all at once, which is pretty cool. And then rank 10 Prophecy Reward Upgrade. Items from prophecies are duplicated, meaning that whatever the reward be, you're going to get twice as much, which is huge. And then we'll cover prophecies real quick. So prophecies are pseudo items which can be purchased in the observatory that cause certain item drops or increase the odds of higher tier affixes being generated on an item when you complete the requirements listed on the prophecy. And here you can see that you can purchase those prophecies. There's always a choice of which ones that you're going to get, and you just kind of buy them with favor to get which ones that you want. Each one is going to have an event, a condition, and then of course the reward. So the prophecy event will be outlined. Particular event needs to occur in order for the prophecy to be triggered. Some examples of the events would be death of a chronomancer jeweler, death of an arena champion, death of X number of rare enemies, or death of X number of siege golems. The condition could be something as well as it needs to be in the monolith, it needs to be on a certain echo or a certain timeline, or above a certain corruption. Those could be some of the conditions, and then when both are met, you get the rewards. Fairly straightforward. The reward, when those are completed, will then give you whatever the reward was of said prophecy. We then have lenses, which is a way to really kind of nitpick what items you are looking for. So lenses offer a method to modify your telescopes in the observatory to further refine what kind of prophecies you can discover. Like item factions themselves, lenses have been added to the observatory in response to community feedback from the community tester program. Lenses are items which can be purchased from your faction vendor and then slotted into a telescope. The lenses are permanent items, so once you purchase a lens, you can slot it into a telescope, remove it, store it as many times as you want, switch it around. It's never going to disappear. Again, it's a permanent item. They're not consumed. Each telescope is equipped with 3 lens slots unlocked at Circle Fortune ranks 2, 5, and 9, which gives you some upgrades, and it's going to feel better as you unlock those as you go up your ranks in the Circle of Fortune. When you view the faction shop, you will find 2 tabs listing lenses, regional lenses, and greater lenses. Regional lenses are lenses which are specific to one telescope. For instance, an EOS telescope lens can only be fitted into the EOS telescope and has a modifier specific to weapon prophecies, which the EOS telescope provides. Greater lenses can be slotted into any telescope. You can add multiple of the same lens to a telescope for an additive effect. To help get a better idea of these lenses, let's take a quick look at some of the lenses offers. So here we have an obscure lens of storytelling, which is 100% reduced chance for prophecies to have campaign events. So say you've already finished the campaign, you don't want to go back and rerun it to have a prophecy be fulfilled, you throw that on there, and now it's all going to be timelines and other endgame things such as the arena. Refracturing lens of rhyme. This has 80% increased cost of all prophecies, but they offer twice as many uses before expiring. Again, just something you can throw on there for an increased reward for doing a little extra up front. And then here are some more example. Focusing lens of idols, 15% increased chance per rank to find large idols. So say you're rank 10, that's 150% increased chance to find large idols instead of whatever idol would have dropped. The enhancing lens of the unmatched has the same increased chance per rank to find unique items. And the obscuring lens can reduce the chance for prophecies to have arena events. So say you don't want to do arena, say you don't want to do campaigns, you can throw in those lenses and then you'd only be doing timeline ones. Now you may notice there's 4 types of modifiers here. Lenses can increase the chance for certain items. Lenses can increase the chance for certain item rarities. Lenses which block certain prophecy activities. And finally, lenses which modify favor costs for specific prophecy rewards. This offers a lot of power to customize the randomness of prophecies and focus them on types of items you want as well as the activities you want to do. So again, this won't just make your prophecies be focused on the rewards that you want, but it can also focus them to happen in the area that you want to do your end game activities, which is a really nice thing. Again, if you have a bunch of prophecies that are, say, campaign, and you're never going to go back to the campaign, but you really need those rewards, it would really suck to have to go back to the campaign, be in an area you don't want to do just for that. So there's a good way around that, which is really, really nice. Now, like with most systems in Last Epoch, most of them can be expanded upon. So as there's room for more types of lenses to add in the future, these will be the 4 types available with 1.0. So again, these 4 types are coming with 1.0, but that's not to say there won't be more in the future. And if you have any sort of feedback on what you'd like to see, I definitely recommend you go and throw that on the LE forums or give that in a feedback suggestion. There's a good chance that you'll see it in a future patch. So one last thing to cover is resonances. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but we'll cover a little bit more in depth. So while resonances are technically separate from the item faction system, because we had mentioned them in the original development blog regarding item factions, they felt that it only makes sense to talk about them here. So let's talk about resonances for 1.0 a little bit. And here you can see are a couple different types. There's an obsidian resonance, which allows you to trade with whoever you had partied with. So say you partied with somebody and an item fell that was really good, but the person you wanted to give it to was not in your party at the time it fell. You can go then party with a different friend or whoever that really wants that item, play with them long enough, resonances will start dropping, and then if you get one for that item that fits that item requirement, you can then gift it to that person. So say you had an item that you really wanted to give to Carve, really bad. Well, if you got an obsidian resonance, because he wasn't there at the time that it dropped, and you play with them a bunch, you could go get some of these or even possibly already have one, and now it can be used with exalted or legendary items. So in this particular case, say that you knew Carve had a certain build, say it was a squirrel build and he really wanted to get the squirrel helm, and in this case you had that item fall, you'd already made it a legendary, and now you wouldn't be able to give that to him normally, especially if you're not in the Merchant's Guild. Well, with this resonance, if you play with him long enough and you have one of these fall, you would now be able to give that item to it using this resonance, which is a really nice way of just being able to help out the people you play with the most, no matter which faction you end up going into. And that's going to be it for the item factions. I don't know which one you guys are more excited for, but let me know in the comments below. For me, I'm definitely going Circle of Fortune to begin with to really get a character going. We may then switch that character and go to a Merchant's Guild so that we can try and make some money off of the Bazaar, depending on how much we're playing. But that's going to be it for me, guys. As always, stay safe and see you next time.